Ole Miss shortstop Jacob Gonzalez is a two-time and current SEC Freshman of the Week and has the Rebels battling to host an NCAA Regional 2 weeks from now. Georgia's Riley King and Connor Tate been banged up but back in the lineup tonight as the Bulldogs try to play their way into the NCAA tournament. It's the 13th ranked Ole Miss Rebels and the Georgia Bulldogs tonight in the first of a weekend 3-game series here at Foley Field in Athens, Georgia. And good evening, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former Georgia Bulldogs standout coach and two-time minor league all-star Jason Jacobs. Final weekend of the SEC regular season. Road to Hoover Conference Tournament starts next week. Rebels still very much in the mix for a top 4 seed and first round bye. Bulldogs currently 9th. They've clinched a spot in the tournament. And of course, this series has all kinds of implications for the NCAA tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. And Jason, Rebels lost their star pitcher Gunnar Hoagland several weeks ago, but they still have Doug Nikhazy, and he's going to be tough on the Bulldogs tonight.
Yeah, that's a nice next man to have up. And Doug Nikhazy, you got a great fastball, good command on both sides, really knows how to pitch it. Got a really good breaking ball to accompany that slider, changeup. He's going to really keep this Georgia Bulldogs offense off balance.
Georgia also lost their star pitcher a couple of weeks ago, and Ryan Webb. Luke Wagner gets the start tonight. Liam Sullivan tomorrow night, but the rest of the pitching plans for the weekend in flux.
Yeah, really got to piece it together. It's going to be tough against this Ole Miss offense. They lead the league in a lot of offensive categories, very potent 1 through 9. They're going to have their hands full.
And there is Luke Wagner making his 11th start of the season, but he's only worked 34 innings in his 15 overall appearances.
Yeah, just a freshman here coming. You see the numbers there, the 27 strikeouts, the 23 walks. Struggles with command a little bit. Fastball and the 88 to 90 miles an hour. He's going to need to command his off-speed stuff and fastball counts if he's going to be effective against this good offense that the Rebels bring.
Well, here's a look at the batting order. He'll be facing a formidable order for Mike Bianco's team. Number 2 in the conference, tied for first with a .302 batting average. The top run-scoring team starts with McCants off the top, Chatinier, and then Gonzalez down in the 3 spot tonight. Graham Bench, Dunhurst. Elko going to be the DH. More on him later on as we go throughout the evening. Leatherwood in the 8 spot, and Baker batting 9th. So here we go. Rebels at 36 and 16 overall, 16 and 11 in the conference. And McCants leading things off for Ole Miss, and that's a first pitch strike. This is similar to the batting order they had when they scored 13 runs against Vandy on Sunday. So it worked that day. Go back to it today with McCants leading off and Gonzalez dropping down from the leadoff spot to the 3 spot. Take a look at the numbers for McCants in that .344 batting average. As the pitch goes to the backstop, it's 2-1. 5 homers, 28 RBI for McCants. Has struck out a team leading 47 times. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Wagner, and that is hit foul over on the right side. McCants, the freshman out of Cantonment, Florida, played at Pensacola Catholic. 17 multi-hit games this season. Second on the squad, had a big series against Vandy. 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Good start for Wagner and the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Wagner doing a great job just spotting that fastball up, locating it well in the outer half. Looked like Georgia put the shift on there with 2 strikes once McCants got there, and I think he was maybe looking for something on the inner part of the plate. Wagner goes away. Really has done a good job at establishing that fastball with his first 5 pitches of the game.
Wagner 3-3 on the season, 4.98 ERA. Here's Chatinier. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Chatinier, the sophomore out of Cypress, Texas, played at Cy-Fair High School out there. .287 batting average for Chatinier. Team leading 12 doubles to go along with his 2 home runs and 32 RBI. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and Wagner's ahead 0-2.
Good little changeup right there. Not a big change in speed, just 6 miles an hour off that fastball, but good action late.
Wagner, 28 strikeouts in just under 35 innings of work with 23 walks. Opponents batting .252 against it. 0-2. Back Chatinier off the plate, 1-2. Wagner, the freshman out of New Cumberland, PA. Played at Redland High School up there. His brother Cole in the Bulldogs 2022 signing class. Pitch now, count now, 2-2. His brother Cole, a first baseman and left-handed pitcher like Luke. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's ball 3.
Always tough to miss with a breaking ball in that 2-2 count. When you go to 3-2, you feel like the hitter's at an advantage now. Knowing that you just missed with your breaking ball, you come back with it's going to be tough to get it in the zone, so you're thinking fastball here if you're the hitter.
3-2, and Chatinier hits it in the air, battling the sun in foul territory, now in the shadows. And Cheney Rogers makes the catch for out number 2. Bulldogs fielding 977 as a team, 4th best in the conference, but only 971 in conference play. And here is the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week for the 2nd time this season, Jacob Gonzalez. What a great season Gonzalez is having. Out of Glendora, California, big-time prospect out of Glendora High School. 340 average, 348 average, pardon me, is 9th best in the conference. Leads the team with 46 RBI, has 9 homers. Leads the SEC with 56 runs scored. He's behind in the count now, 1-2. And there you see Jacob Gonzalez, number 3 in the conference behind Morgan, Allen, and Rucker. 72 hits in your freshman season. That's not too bad. And here's the 1-2. Called strike 3, Wagner. With 2 strikeouts here in the top half of the first. Great start for Luke Wagner, who hasn't pitched beyond 3 innings lately. Bulldogs batting when we get back. The lefty Doug Casey making his team-leading 12th start of the season, 7-2. 6th most wins in the SEC and a 2.34 ERA, which is number 5 in the conference.
Yeah, and this guy can really pitch, and he's just a winner. You got good stuff, got good talent, knows how to win. You got the fastball in the low 90s, good curveball to accompany that, has really improved on his slider, especially to left-handers. Georgia only sending 2 left-handers to the plate in their starting lineup. But just look for him to really mix and keep them off balance, keep Georgia offense off balance by moving it in and out and back and forth.
Here's the lineup that he'll face for Scott Strickland's Georgia Bulldogs, averaging 5.6 runs per game, which is next to last in the conference, batting .275, which is 11th in the conference. Starts with McAllister, then Tate twins, Cole and Connor. Gonzalez in the 4th spot tonight. Rogers batting 5th, followed by Harbor. Blaylock getting the DH spot tonight. King is batting 8th, and Anderson is batting 9th. But what you don't see is Corey Collins not in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, interesting, kind of giving him a little bit of a break, I guess, or maybe just electing to go with a right-handed heavy lineup in this case.
Yeah, I think you would go with the second right there. I think it's the fact that he's a left-handed batter. He's, it's the back half of the season's gotten a little bit more difficult for him, so giving him a break against the tough left-hander here for the Rebels. Here's McAllister to lead things off for Georgia, goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of play. McAllister has missed 15 games this season because of hamstring injury on 3 separate occasions. .357 batting average, and lines that one just foul down the right field line. If he hadn't missed so many games, that batting average would be right up there with the conference leaders. As it is, he's hit 9 home runs with 26 RBI, team leading .612 slugging percentage as well. Here's the 0-2 from Nikhazy. Got him on 3 pitches. Nikhazy averages 12.4 strikeouts per 9 inning in SEC starts.
And just great location on that fastball up in the zone coming off of that big breaking ball that McAllister hit just foul. But you talk about Georgia and their trouble scoring, I feel like getting that leadoff guy is a big piece of the missing puzzle for them this season.
Well, of course, you never want to lose someone the caliber of Gunnar Hoagland, who was projected as high as the number 5 prospect in the upcoming July draft. But what a great blessing for Mike Bianco's team to have Nikhazy. They can stick back in that Friday spot, a spot that he's been in his career, so it's an easy transition for him to go back to that number 1 starter role. Here's the 0-1 to Cole Tate. That said, you can't lose a Hoagland without feeling the impact, just like Georgia can't lose Ryan Webb, who's out for the year with the elbow injury, was projected as a second-round pick in the July draft. You can't lose him and not feel the impact. There's nobody to call up. You got to make do with what you have on the roster.
Yeah, and it's been tough on that Georgia pitching staff in general, just kind of been banged up throughout the year. It's been a blessing in one case where a lot of guys have gotten time that maybe otherwise they wouldn't have, and gotten some experience here early on in their careers, but they've really been leaning on a lot of freshman arms.
That's the 4th starting pitcher that the Bulldogs have lost this season. There's a called strike 3, and Nikhazy has struck out the first 2 that he's faced.
Yeah, Nikhazy kind of lulling him to sleep with that slow motion. Good deception. See him kind of stay back over that leg. And then spots right there on the inside part of the plate coming off that breaking ball. Good pitch sequence there to Tate as well.
Yeah, so the Bulldogs not only have lost Webb, they lost Will Childers, sophomore right-hander, Garrett Brown, sophomore right-hander. Before the season even started, C.J. Smith barely got out of the starting blocks, and then he's out for the rest of the year with that arm soreness. So 4 starters Georgia was counting on in the rotation. Not available here as they play their final regular season game and get ready for postseason play, which they hope is going to be more than just one game.
Yeah.
Connor Tate, 10th best batting average in the conference at .346, leads the team with 10 home runs, 33 RBI, has a chance to be Georgia's first Triple Crown winner since Aaron Shunk did it back in 2019. But before that, you have to go back to 2010 to find the Bulldogs' last Triple Crown winners. That means leads the team in homers, RBI, home runs. Got a guess as to who it was in 2010? You were on the staff, right?
Yeah, I would say Zach Cohn would be.
You got it. Zach Cohn. In there for strike 1 and 2. In fact, Georgia went through a stretch there of 3 consecutive seasons in which they had a Triple Crown winner. Led the team in homers, batting average, RBI. So before Cohn, who's your next 2 in 09 and 08?
Poitras, was he there in 09?
Got it.
And then Beckham, obviously.
And obviously Beckham. You're right. Nailed it. You were paying attention while you were sitting in the dugout. Tate, swing and a miss, no contact, and he's going to be safe at first base. Strikeout and a wild pitch. So Nikhazy strikes out 3. He's going to have to get another out to get out of the inning. And Mike Bianco out there to argue with home plate umpire Tyler Simpson. He's going to argue that there was contact.
I don't believe there was right there. It looks like he was arguing that Tate maybe kicked the ball the way that he kicked down the third baseline, but it doesn't appear that it was even close in that case. Going to take a look. They'll talk about it, and then they're probably going to take a look, but like Dunhurst just reacted the wrong way. Ball kicked to his left. He kind of looked over to the right.
So Mike Bianco not making any fans here at Foley Field. Asking for the review. Yeah, the ball doesn't react as if it's tipped at all.
It was definitely a swing and miss. I think the argument was whether or not Tate.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Whether he kicked it there with his back foot, but it doesn't look like he does that either. So, yeah, it's a clear swing and miss. Looks like it got Dunhurst right there on the hand, which is probably why he didn't know which way it went. Anytime it hits you on the wrist or the hand as a catcher, you really don't have much of a clue. Get you in that chest protector, you got a pretty good idea.
So there will not be a review. And Tate at first base for the freshman catcher, Fernando Gonzalez.
You see how Casey looks out of the stretch. That windup is kind of a slow start, and it kind of explodes on the hitter. Last couple of guys really struggle with that fastball and kind of jumping on him, coming off of the big breaking ball he's got. We'll see if he's able to do that from the stretch as well.
He's done nothing but fill up the strike zone to start this game, that's for sure. Gonzalez takes a strike. It's 0-1. 271, couple of homers, 13 RBI. (0-1) pitch, swing and a miss. 0-2 now to Gonzalez. Let's see if Nikhazy strikes out 4 in the inning. Ooh, rifles that one foul off the netting that protects the fans here. 100% capacity allowed at Foley Field. Don't have a total sellout here, but we have our largest crowd of the season, no doubt about it. So good to see.
Yeah, it's really nice not being able to pick out a singular voice from the crowd. There's a little bit of chatter going on.
Here's the 0-2 to Gonzalez. Breaking ball missed. He hasn't thrown many balls.
He's been in the zone, and they're quality strikes, too. It's well spotted, even when he's trying to go out of the zone, getting a swing and miss. He's hitting his spots. 9
of his 11 pitches have been strikes.
Good catch there by Dunhurst, really catching it deep. Trying to win that strike.
Dunhurst, one of the best in the SEC, and he leads the SEC in throwing out base runners. 18 total, either caught stealing or picked off. 2-2 pitch. And Gonzalez gets a piece of it to send it over the overhang. Georgia at 29-21 overall, 12-15 in the SEC, currently 5th in the East Division, 19-11 at home. They've gone 6-9 against the top 25. 7-5 in one-run games. 2-2 is check swing foul. So Gonzalez hanging in there. Bulldogs not a big power hitting team. They're next to last in home runs. Here's ball 3. Tate will be running with the pitch, has a big lead. There he goes. And tap foul.
Heck of an at-bat here early on by Gonzalez. Just battling off some pitches. Nikhazy continuing to make some quality pitches.
This will be the 9th pitch of this plate appearance. Nikhazy, the junior left-hander out of Windermere, Florida. And the 3-2 pitch, runner going again. Called strike 3. Nikhazy strikes out the side, +1. 4 strikeouts for Doug Nikhazy here in the first inning. Started with McAllister swinging. Then Cole Tate looking. Connor Tate swinging a miss. He reached on the wild pitch. And then Gonzalez with the breaking ball. We'll head to the second, scoreless. Heading to the top of the second inning, scoreless here at Foley Field. Here's a look at the Ole Miss Rebels, their season resume. They are currently picked as one of the 20 teams to host an NCAA regional. Misstate that. There's 20 teams picked to host an NCAA regional. Only 16 will actually end up doing it. So Ole Miss probably a really strong bet as Graham hits this one to McAllister for out number 1. but they feel like they still got some work to do. They can't lay an egg down the stretch here and get swept in Athens and then go 1 and out in the SEC tournament next week and still host. At least that's the way Coach Mike Bianco feels. They want to come out here and play good, solid baseball like they've been doing all season and make sure they solidify and lock down that regional host. But I think they're going to get one. I think they'll be one of the 20. I don't think they'll be one of the 4 that gets left out.
Yeah, I tend to agree. They got a great lineup, top to bottom, one of the best in the country right now. Some good arms on that mound, great back end.
And what a shame to leave Oxford out of the NCAA regional hosting. They're the number 1 in the nation in attendance. They average over 7,000 fans per game. And that's even in a COVID year. Pretty phenomenal stuff. Here's Justin Bench. Played at Calvary Christian there in Reddington Beach, California. Leads the SEC, number 6 in the nation in hit by pitch. But he also has a great .328 batting average. 5 homers, 33 RBI. 20 times he's been hit by a pitch. That's a record he can have. Don't want any part of that.
Some guys are just magnets. I mean, other guys just hold their ground really well and it doesn't bother them too much.
Wagner's last outing pitched a scoreless inning in relief in the Bulldogs' 6-1 win at Florida on Sunday. 2-2 pitch, and Bench did not pull the trigger. It's 3-2. Rebels are the 4th team that Georgia's played this year that has been ranked number 1 this season. Right back up the middle off Wagner, and Bench is going to be thrown out nonetheless. But let's see if Wagner's okay, man. And he's hobbling. He took a line shot off that leg, and that's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, it sounded like it might have got him in the shoe.
I thought it was more like the leg.
Looked like the leg, sounded like the shoe. That's not good.
No, it isn't.
That hit him pretty hard there.
Indeed it did. That was a thud. Great recovery by Wagner to get the ball and throw him out.
Oh, yeah. It might have got him right on that ankle, that little knob you got there.
Georgia can ill afford another injury to one of their pitchers, and Wagner actually has started the night very well. Activity will begin in the Georgia bullpen. I'd say this does not look promising. Doesn't look like he can put much pressure on that leg. I think he's coming out. You just hope it's nothing more than a bruise. So what did we tell you when we started about 20 minutes ago, that their pitching was in flux? Well, even more so now.
Yeah, that's the last thing they needed right here already. It looks like it gets them on that inside.
Maybe the calf muscle.
I think it might have been bone right there, right around the ankle area.
Well, we're going to have a little bit of a delay here because Georgia obviously had nobody warming up. And so now we're going to have a pitcher warm up here.
Yeah, Wagner off to a great start. This is a worst-case scenario for Georgia. Like you mentioned, already light on pitching. A couple of injuries, then you get one in the...
Yeah, I think Michael Polk might be the guy, because when we talked to Coach Strickland leading up to the game, he said it's going to be either Wagner or Polk. Wagner was the guy that won the vote, so to speak, so I think Michael Polk might be the next guy in here. Georgia's going to pull their whole team off the field. So we're going to be here for a while. Have you seen any good movies lately?
Yeah, coming out, I guess, an injury substitution, you get as much time as you really need. And,
yeah.
You know, they got all kinds of bullpen routines they go through now.
And they hadn't been doing any of them.
Yeah, that's right. So he's starting cold.
So we'll step aside for a moment. as the Bulldogs have to make a pitching change here in the second. Well, Michael Polk is out there warming up with the whole stadium watching him, so a little bit unusual here for that as he's getting ready to come in for Luke Wagner, and this is the reason why. Wagner got hit on that leg, the ankle perhaps, and he is done for the night as Benj had a line shot right back up the middle. Great awareness by Wagner to throw out Benj, but hopefully he's not out for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, it sounded pretty bad from up here as far as the contact that was made. It was a sharp hit ball.
Could it be any worse for Georgia? They're coming off a 14-inning game against Georgia Tech on Tuesday night, so 48 hours ago. Had that. You got this big weekend series where you feel like you got to win the series to maybe nail down an NCAA tournament berth. And then on Tuesday, the SEC tournament starts.
Yeah, and you got to do it without your number one starter in Ryan Webb. So,
and now maybe Luke Wagner as well. Who knows?
Yeah. So they definitely got their hands full. Just going to Polk, like you mentioned, he's got good stuff. 90 to 94 fastball. Good breaking ball, just, again, young.
Yep. He's rarely been in this spot, though, so we'll see how he handles the pressure. He has never, been basically the opening game starter of an SEC series, which essentially is what he's doing right now, coming in after 5 outs were recorded by Wagner. But his numbers in a limited sample size, good. You take a look at it right there. He's only allowed 1 earned run in 13 innings of work. 2-0 record, 0.69 ERA. The walk to strikeout ratio isn't good. 16 strikeouts, 13 walks. Opponents batting .271 against him.
Yeah, you just don't like that 1 walk per inning statistic that he's kind of in line with right there, and it's tough against Ole Miss, especially. This team, you can't afford to give them anything for free. So.
And top to bottom, 1 through 9, they're a team that will wear you out if you give them free passes. Even if you don't, they'll wear you out. So, they're hard enough if you're pitching them well. One of the top offenses, not only in the SEC, but in the country. And so now they're going to get a new pitcher here. If you take a look at the numbers, they're great. Tied for first in batting average, first in on-base percentage, first in runs scored. That's right at 7.7 runs per game. Number 1 in the SEC in hits. It doesn't stop there. They're number 5 in the nation in runs scored. They're number 2 in the nation in hits. They've had double-digit hits in 30 of 52 games. And we've also had a defensive change as well. Did they say right field or left field? Jernigan's come into the game for Georgia either in right or left. So that means either Connor Tate or Riley King, their leg has flared up on them, and they've been taken out of the lineup. So the first pitch from Polk to Dunhurst is ball 1. So Randon Jernigan has come into the game.
It looks like Jernigan's in left and King has moved over to right field.
So they've taken Connor Tate out. And
we saw him coming off the field kind of hobbling a little bit as well.
Yep. So the hits just keep on coming for Georgia tonight. Connor Tate had missed the last 2 games after getting hit by a pitch on his ankle in the Florida series. Missed the finale against Florida, missed the Georgia Tech game after he'd started the first 48 games of the season. 2 balls and a strike here to Dunhurst. And that ball is driven deep right field. Will it hit the scoreboard or go over it? Neither. It's caught at the wall by Riley King. I thought for sure that ball was out of here, and Riley King goes up against the wall to make the catch. What a catch by Riley King. This was an absolute moonshot. I thought it had a shot to get over the scoreboard, but it died there at the wall, and Riley King stuck his glove up there at the last second and saved a home run. Still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the second. Ole Miss and Georgia scoreless as the Bulldogs come to bat. Matt Stewart joined by Jason Jacobs. And I thought that ball by Dunhurst was crushed. I thought it was off the scoreboard, and King made a catch at the wall. I was surprised.
Yeah, it was a great catch, and I was noticing in batting practice a few of the balls kind of dying out there a little bit late. Flag's not doing much. Actually, looks like it's maybe blowing in a little bit, favoring right field as well.
Yeah.
It just kind of died, like you said, hit a wall. And King had a chance to make a play, and he was able to do it.
I thought it was going to be off the scoreboard for sure. Dunhurst, maybe he thought so too, but it died out there at the wall, and King made a great catch. Here's Cheney Rogers. Takes a strike. It's 1-1 to Cheney Rogers.
That's that slider we're talking about to lefties that Casey's really developed here in the last couple of outings he's had.
Rogers hit his 4th home run of the season in the 6-1 win at Florida on Sunday. And he socks that one into right field for the first hit of the night. First hit for either team, and it's Cheney Rogers, who has really played well the last month of the season. He's raised his average over 30 points, which is hard to do this stage of the year.
Yeah, Rogers throughout his career has kind of been streaky. He started the season pretty hot, had that lull in the middle, but it seems like his bat's caught some fire here as of late. First ball Georgia's been able to put in play, and he ends up with a single.
Yeah, after Nikhazy had struck out 4 batters. That's right, 4 batters in the first inning. It's Parks Harbor, Georgia's freshman third baseman. And Harbor was Georgia's starter for the first half of the season, lost his job when McAllister came back and Blaylock moved over from second to third, but Blaylock the DH tonight and Harbor getting the start, and Collins the one taking a seat on the bench this evening after 47 starts. Primarily in the DH role, a little bit more as a catcher here lately. Counts 2-0 to Harbor. Making his 25th start of the season, .261 average, 3 homers and 18 RBI. He hasn't homered since the South Carolina series, which was the 3rd series of the season for Georgia. So it's been a while. Two balls and a strike. Foul back. Nikhazy, ranked by Kylie McDonald, 2.0 top 100 prospects, has Nikhazy number 91 in the July draft, although Bianco feels like he's probably going to be more like a back-end first-round guy, maybe early second-round guy. 2-2, called strike 3, 5 strikeouts for Nikhazy out of the first 6 batters that he's faced.
And
amazing.
He's just done a great job at locating the fastball into a righty. Good angle on it, really sneaks up off of the off-speed stuff. A lot of hitters trying to defend against that big breaking ball late in the count, and he's able to sneak that fastball in right by him.
Bulldogs as a team with the 5th most strikeouts of any team in the SEC, now over 440. And with a guy like Nikhazy on the staff and Hoagland before he was hurt. Ole Miss number 2 in strikeouts from their pitchers, now over 600 for the season. Blaylock. Blaylock homered, 3-run homer in the first inning in that 6-1 win against the Gators on Sunday. Runners going, trying out Dunhurst, and he's got him out. You don't run on Dunhurst. That's the 19th base runner that he has thrown out this season.
And Rogers on first move. Not the fleetest of foot as Rogers, but a great pitch to throw on and a great exchange, quick release. Nice accurate throw. It's a great job by Dunhurst there.
Dunhurst just has so much going for him. Number one, his head coach is a former college catcher himself, Bianco, so You know, the catcher, that's his position. So if you're going to play for Ole Miss, better be a good catcher. Dunhurst, they've had a number of great ones come through.
And it is tough being a catcher and having a manager that's a catcher, or former catcher, I should say.
No doubt about it.
It'll make you better, but it'll be pretty frustrating too.
There's a strike, 3-2, just to show you how long I've been doing this. Back in my early days calling SEC baseball on radio, I remember when Bianco was the catcher at LSU, or Skip Burtman. Yep, been doing it that long. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and he walked him.
That was an interesting pitch selection there. 3-1 going with the slider to Blaylock and then coming back with the fastball, and you got to 3-2.
25th walk of the season for Nikhazy. Here's Riley King.
I think the respect showed to Blaylock is just that one power threat that Georgia really has. The lineup you mentioned not hitting that many home runs. Connor Tate leading the team, but really hasn't hit a home run as of late. A lot of his home runs came early in the season.
And now he's out of the lineup.
So Blaylock getting that respect, 3-1.
There's a strike to Riley King. He had missed the previous 3 games with a sore knee. Missed the last 2 games of the Florida series and the 14-inning affair with Georgia Tech on Tuesday night. Fouled that one off. It's 0-2.
Again, Nikhazy going, establishing that inside part of the plate with that fastball. In the first pitch for a strike, then goes right to the breaking ball, gets King fishing. It's too tough. The ball looks exactly like that fastball 2/3 of the way, and then it just falls off the table.
Nikhazy last start outdueled Kumar Rocker in their 3-1 series opening win against Vanderbilt. Gets King swinging, and Nikhazy has struck out 6 out of the 8 batters that he's faced. Strong start for Doug Day. Top of the 3rd inning, scoreless here, Georgia and Ole Miss. A look at the Bulldogs' postseason resume. Currently ranked by D1 Baseball as one of the last 5 in. In fact, D1 Baseball had Georgia projected as a number 3 seed in the Texas Tech Regional this week. And there's a look at Georgia's numbers. Scott Strickland feels like they need to get to 14 SEC wins to lock it down. And feels like that first round matchup looks like they're going to be pitted against Alabama in the first round. Those 2 teams, either one of them's going to be 8, one of them's going to be 9. They're that close. He feels like that could end up being a play-in game for the NCAA regional between the 2 teams.
Yeah, it really does make a lot of sense. Alabama, if they were to take care of business this weekend and have 14 wins as well, they have that one less game played, 1 less loss. So you would think that if Georgia was able to get to that 14-win mark, that might be a play-in unless they decided to take 9 SEC teams, in which case both would get in.
1-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Tim Elko, 1-2. What a story this guy is. He tore his ACL back in April. He tore his ACL and he's still playing.
That's remarkable.
Got it braced up. Had a base hit against Vanderbilt on Sundays. 2 for 6 since returning to the lineup. They've got him in the DH tonight. In fact, they did not originally have him in the lineup, but then after BP, Mike Bianco put him in the lineup as the DH. The big question, of course, is running the bases. 2-2, swing and a miss. And Polk gets the strikeout of Elko. 1 down in the inning.
Good breaking ball here. See, Polk's got the good stuff. You just see when he misses, it's a big miss, you know. Contrast that with Nikhazy, and it just seems like he's pretty close to where he wants to throw it every time. It could play to his advantage, though. Good disciplined team like Ole Miss at the plate, the effectively wild type of pitcher, might be tough for them to get in rhythm with.
Pitch outside to Leatherwood, Hayden Leatherwood. COVID senior out of Collierville, Tennessee, Northwest Mississippi Community College. Number 6 in the SEC in 367 batting average in conference games. Harbor way over in the shortstop position, throws him out, 2 down. So Parks Harbor making the most of his chance to start here tonight. Here's Cale Baker, COVID senior out of Ohio. Wabash Valley College, going full Eddie Van Halen this season.
It's a fantastic look he's got going on.
Massive. Strike from Polk. Nope, ball 1 from Polk. Pardon me. 248 average. He's homered in back-to-back games. Vandy and their 9-7 loss to UT Martin on Tuesday night. He's got 5 homers now, 26 RBI. Ole Miss, that was their first midweek home loss all season long, came in the regular season finale. You know all about it. You know, Bianco referred to it as the Tuesday challenge, the midweek challenge in every major program, Georgia included. They face that. Baker gives this one a ride to right field. King has it measured, however, and the Rebels go 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 3rd. We'll head to the bottom half. Still scoreless at Foley Field. SEC baseball tournament starting next Tuesday, running through Sunday. If the tournament started today, this is what the bracket would look like. Georgia and Alabama meeting. Ole Miss would be playing Kentucky. And all that, of course, subject to change over these next 3 days as we wrap up the regular season. Vandy, Tennessee, Arkansas, and either Florida or Mississippi State would be the recipients of the first round bye. You've played in it. I've had the opportunity to call it many, many times. It's a lot of fun.
It really is. A great tournament, good atmosphere, good fans. I think the only bad part is that we've never had any success.
Georgia's never won it.
Georgia's never had much success there. In 06, we were able to win 3 games, went 3-2, and ended up earning a super regional host because of it, I believe.
Ben Anderson goes after the first pitch from Nick Casey, pops it up to bench. Right off the top of my head, outside of the newest teams like Missouri and A&M, I think Georgia and Kentucky, the only teams never to win the SEC tournament. That's just off the top of my head.
No, I'd say that's
I think
right.
Everybody else has won it at least once.
And frankly, I think it's probably tougher to win that tournament than the College World Series in some aspects, because it's basically the College World Series condensed into 1 week instead of the 2 weeks that they allow.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play every day.
Yeah.
It's a double elim, and of course now the semifinals no longer are.
Right.
But it's a double elimination tournament for most of the week. You got to play every day. Whereas you go to Omaha, you get a day off between games, at least 1 day off, sometimes 2 or 3.
And Birmingham's pretty hot this time of year as well, so add that into the mix.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I know people look at you like you're crazy when you say it, but it's true. It's harder to win the SEC tournament. Georgia's case in point. Georgia's won a national championship.
That's right.
They've never won an SEC tournament championship. And 0-2 to McAllister. Here's a look at the most tournament champions. LSU with 12. Paul Maneri's done a great job. Of course, before that, but Maneri has continued that. Skip Bertman. Then Alabama and Florida, Mississippi State with 7 apiece. Ole Miss has won it 3 times.
South Carolina's missing off that, as well as Kentucky, Georgia. There's one other one I'm missing of the 12 SEC teams, not counting obviously Texas A&M and Missouri.
Yeah, well, South Carolina, I believe, has won it. once.
Okay,
I think
one
they've
time.
won it
Gotcha.
once. They've won more national championships than they have SEC tournament championships. Little blooper on the infield. Going to be trouble, and a base hit from McAllister.
No, you couldn't have bunted it any better than that. The lefty falling off on the third base side. You can see McAllister just fighting his hands inside that ball. And then it was just a race at that point.
Well, at that point, when they got to the ball, it was not going to matter whether Chatinier or Nikhazy picked it up. They weren't going to throw out McAllister, who gets an infield hit. 2 hits now for Georgia tonight. It's Cole Tate. Tate, one of 6 players who got to walk last week. I don't know whether he actually walked or not. I think they were probably in Florida, but he graduated. That ball is hit to left field and going to fall for a base hit. McAllister races for third, going to reach without a throw. Runners at the corners for Georgia here in the bottom of the third.
And Bulldogs just finding a way. Then Tate gets blown up on the inside part of the plate. McKay's doing a great job of commanding it. Able to fist one out there. And great base running by McAllister. He was off to the races right off the bat. Didn't think with that ball being hit to left he'd have a chance at first or third, but his turn around second base was perfect. Been able to slide in there safely.
So McAllister at third. Here's Brandon Jernigan batting for the first time.
And this might be a situation where you see a push bunt down the right side, almost a safety squeeze type of play.
Here it comes. McAllister came sprinting down the line, slams on the brakes, and heads back. Strike one to Jernigan. Limited sample size for Jernigan. He's 9 for 37 on the year. Has driven in 5 runs with his 9 hits. One of them a triple. 243 batting average. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Going to show that bunt again and miss it again. So now 0-2. Likely the bunt comes off.
Yeah, I like the breaking ball there from Nikhazy. It is tough. It's got a lot of downward action there late. Very difficult to bunt.
His whip is 0.97 in conference games. Anything under 1 is great. One ball, 2 strikes. Nikhazy glances over at first. To the plate, and Jernigan. Breaking ball missed. 2-2.
It's a great take there by Jernigan. You're obviously looking for it, I would imagine. Casey maybe going to that fastball in here.
Out there in Oxford and Mississippi, they call this Doug Day whenever Nikhazy pitches. Hashtag Doug Day. Swing and a miss. 7 strikeouts for hashtag Doug Day. They call it that because they usually win when he pitches. It's a Doug Day. What's today? It's a Doug Day. Amazing 7 strikeouts, first 12 batters that he's faced.
Yeah, I think this is a guy you want up in a clutch situation in Gonzalez, as he is able to see 9 pitches from Nikhazy in his last at bat. So he's seen pretty much everything he has to throw at him. Probably got his best chance right here to put something in play, hit it on the screws.
Gonzalez a little bit off the plate. Nikhazy, a COVID sophomore, so in reality he's a junior. He is draft eligible, like we said before, and likely off the board pretty early in July. Foul back, not unsimilar to what Georgia had last year with Hancock and Wilcox. Rebels with Hoagland and Nikhazy. Unfortunately for Ole Miss, won't have Hoagland the rest of the way. Had surgery this week on that elbow. Officially a UCL tear, requiring Tommy John surgery. Two balls and a strike to Gonzalez. Runners at the corners for Georgia. We're in the bottom of the third. In the air, dead away center field. McCants retreating a couple of steps. Now coming back in a couple of steps. Georgia leaves runners at the corners here in the third. Heading to the fourth. Still scoreless. Checking out the SEC scoreboard on this final Thursday night of the regular season. A&M leading LSU 1-0. Florida 1-0 lead on Arkansas. That's a huge game with the SEC regular season championship on the line for the Razorbacks. Mississippi State, Alabama scoreless. Tennessee at South Carolina 7-0 lead. Auburn 1-0 lead on Missouri. Butch Thompson's team trying to squeeze in the back door of the SEC tournament as the 12 seed. Kentucky and Vanderbilt scoreless early on. Got into a little bit of a Twitter debate. I know you shouldn't do that, but we kept it civil. But my debate and contention was that Tony Vitello was SEC Coach of the Year, and he was an Arkansas fan. He was arguing for Dave Van Horn. You can't argue against Dave Van Horn, but I'm just according to expectations and history, Tennessee hasn't been to the College World Series since 2005, haven't won an SEC title since 1995. Arkansas is great, and they always are, and they're usually a national championship contender. I would have to go Vitello if I was voting on SEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I would think so. Arkansas started at the top of the rankings. I mean, they started the season up there in the top five, number one, very early on. Tennessee kind of came out of nowhere and has had a heck of a season, and Vitello's done a great job over there.
McCants swings and misses. Now they've got the ultra shift on for McCants with McAllister playing shallow right field.
Yeah, we'll see if Georgia pitches to it. They went away last time in the shift, and I think it caught McCants a little bit off guard, shifting everybody over to the right side of the field and throwing something on the outside part of the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes to McCants. He's been a great story this year. And he socks that one to right field. Going to get down for the Rebels' first hit of the game here in the top of the fourth. Yeah, McCants was not in the starting lineup at the start of the season. He came to Tennessee as a shortstop like so many guys do. High school shortstop, came here, competed for a job, and, he was kind of the odd man out of the starting lineup when the season began. But third game of the season, Chatagnier, the second baseman, goes down with an injury. They put McCants in there at second base. Chatagnier comes back, and they're like, Bianco's like, try the outfield. Put him out there. He wins SEC Freshman of the Week his first week in the outfield. And so, just been a great story. Your roles are not set, typically speaking, when you arrive on campus. You still, no matter how good you were in high school, you got to earn that job. Throw over, chases back. McCants 9 for 9 on the year in stolen bases. Tennessee 9th in the conference in base stealing. You don't have to steal as many bases when you're hitting them to the wall and over it. There he goes.
Yeah, it looked like that might have been a hit and run with no outs.
Yep.
Well, strange. McCants he has good wheels. Again, on a 1-0 pitch right there. Not the best pitch selection. He had a pretty good jump, so I'm thinking that was probably a hit and run.
1-1 to Chatinier. He's won SEC Player of the Week honors this season. Ball high to Chatinier, 2-1. If you're just now tuning in, Michael Polk in there after Luke Wagner got hit by a line drive. 5 batters into the game, had to come out. So the Bulldogs' already thin pitching ranks for this weekend series got thinner. And at the same time, they had to take Connor Tate out of the ball game after he had started in right field and batted once as he continues to battle his ankle injury. Ben Anderson calls off King, who's now in right field after Tate came out of the ball game. Chatinier is retired. McCants heads back to first.
Now batting number 7, Jacob Gonzalez.
Jacob Gonzalez conjuring up memories of Zach Cozart. Except Bianco says that he's an even better hitter than Cozart was as a freshman.
That's a heck of a freshman campaign Gonzalez is putting on.
No doubt. Excited to see him play. McCants is running and steals the base.
Oh, good effort there by Gonzalez, making that throw from his knees. On a tough pitch. Made it a close play. McCants again had a pretty good jump. See, they're having to reach across, good exchange. That's on the right side of the bag, which obviously is tough to do from your knees. Mm-hmm. I think he might have a chance to get him there.
Ten for 10 now. Now in scoring position, McCants. Gonzalez, 8 for 14. 667 on base percentage, 1.214 slug last week as he earned Freshman of the Week honors. Homered 3 times with 7 RBI. 2 of his 3 home runs came in the Vandy series. One thing that the Bulldogs and the Rebels share in common this year, both took 2 out of 3 from the Commodores. Bulldogs did it up there in Nashville. Rebels did it at home last weekend. Talk about timing. It's probably what nailed down one of those top 20 NCAA regional host selections for them, taking 2 out of 3 from the Commodores. And again, things are different this year because of COVID. They named 20. They'll choose 16 at the end. So even though you've been named right now, doesn't guarantee that you'll host. 4 will get left out. But you find it hard to imagine that the Rebels would be one of those. They've had 7 games there this season with 10,000 plus in attendance. Here's the 3-1 to Gonzalez, but first the spin move back and a throw.
Yeah, it's one of the best atmospheres in college baseball to play in, too, for sure.
14 of the top 20 attended college baseball games this season have been at Swayze Field. McCants at second. Polk looks back at him. Comes to the plate, 3-1 to Gonzalez. Fouled out of play again. There's a look at the 20 host sites. Ole Miss, Vandy out of the SEC, along with Mississippi State, Tennessee, South Carolina, Arkansas. I would like to think that all those SEC teams will end up hosting. 3-2. Called strike 3. Polk gets Gonzalez looking for out number 2.
Good pitch right there. Good job by Gonzalez, kind of winning that pitch. Looked like it might have been a little bit inside. He does a good job at framing it. Give it a good look to home plate umpire Tyler Simpson.
Polk, 2 strikeouts out of the 7 batters that he's faced. Here's Kevin Graham. 45-game on-base streak. He's been on base in 50 of 52 games this season. But he's 0 for 1 here tonight. In the dirt, Gonzalez. McCants can't advance. Rebels have won 16 conference games. It's the 4th time in the last 7 seasons that they've done that. 14-7 against the top 25, 10-5 against the top 10. Count now 2-0 to Graham. Rebels 9-7 on the road this season. That includes winning the college baseball showdown back in March. 2-0. In there for a strike. That's when they ascended to number 1. They swept the RPI top 10. Number 2, Texas. Number 5, TCU. Number 8, Texas Tech. That's their current RPIs. They swept those 3 teams in that tournament. 3-1 now. Second straight batter. Polk's gone 3-1. McCants at second. And that's a 5-pitch walk. 2 aboard for the Rebels with 2 down here in the 4th. So make it 46 straight games for Kevin Graham that he has reached base. See the breakdown, 18-17. Total of 35 pitches so far for Polk.
And it's been effective. I mean, it's effectively wild. The definition of effectively wild. Just his first walk there. So he's been able to pitch around it.
Your experience, those are the guys that are toughest to hit, right?
Very tough to get comfortable as a batter, or even kind of have a feel for location or setup. And you really just got to pick a spot that you want to hit and wait for him to throw it there. It's tough to stay that disciplined.
Here's Justin Bench. He's the guy that hit Luke Wagner with that line drive his first time up, knocking the Bulldogs starting pitcher out of the game. Skies this one foul territory.
I would say my strategy against an effectively wild guy was essentially what Graham did, was just kind of wait him out, wait for him to walk you, because it's tough to get in that rhythm and really get a feel for what's coming next. So you can't really cut the plate into halves or thirds or anything of the sort.
Polk has matched his season high. That's blooped in the left field for a base hit. They wave McCants. Jernigan will not throw to the plate. Ole Miss has a 1-0 lead. RBI single for Bench puts Ole Miss on top.
Yeah, great job there by Bench, really pulling his hands inside the ball. Some good action in on him. He was able to fist it out there for a nice RBI single.
Bench is another guy that they've been able to move around and play in all kinds of different spots this year. The guy that Bianco says does not get enough credit. Nobody talks about him. He's been their glue guy this year. Began the season in center field because they needed some offense out there. Played some shortstop in the fall because they weren't sure that Gonzalez was going to start. Chopper on the infield. Rogers tosses to Polk, who reaches back, steps on the bag, and the inning comes to a close. But the Justin Bench RBI single puts Ole Miss on top, pardon me. Rebels lead it 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning. Spectacular night here at Foley Field. My goodness, if it could be this temperature all summer long, it'd be California.
Oh, it'd be great.
Great night. Ole Miss leading this one 1-0. Matt Stewart along with Jason Jacobs. Thanks for joining us. We'll be here for the entire 3-game series, 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. With Diamond going against Sullivan, and then Saturday, regular season finale, 2 o'clock. McDaniel going for the Rebels and Mr. TBA for Georgia right now.
Yeah, Lord knows. I mean, it's just the hits just keep on coming for this Georgia pitching staff. So, Polk's filling in well. He's doing a good job for Wagner, who's off to a great start before taking a ball off the leg and having to come out second inning.
Jonathan Cannon, the most likely starter for Georgia on Saturday. Projected second-round pick in July. The KZ has been wonderful here. 7 strikeouts, first 13 batters that he's faced. Rogers a base hit his first time up. One of the 3 hits for Georgia. Rebels have 2. They have the only run. Georgia's lost 8 of their last 11 games. 2-5 on the road during that stretch. This dates back to when they won the series at Missouri. Schedule got exponentially harder after that. Back-to-back road trips to Florida and Arkansas, just in the reverse order. Strike to Rogers. Meantime, Rebels 4-4 in their last 8 games since a 5-game winning streak. Two balls and 2 strikes to Rogers. Rifled foul. Rebels pitching staff, 10+ strikeouts. 5 straight games. 36 out of 52 games this season, and with 7 strikeouts here in the bottom of the 4th, looked like a safe bet to do it again here tonight. Count now 3-2 to Rogers. Number 2 in the NCAA and SEC. 11.8 strikeouts per 9 innings for this Rebels staff. And they can hit with anybody. I think the question for them, losing Hoagland, that's a big thing. What will be their lasting and staying power in the NCAA tournament? Also, middle relief has been a sore spot for them this year. They got a great back-end guy and, Taylor Broadway, but getting to Broadway sometimes can be an issue for them.
Yeah, I think that's that trickle-down effect from Hoagland that you're going to see, is that middle relief is going to come into play. And, they're so strong in so many other areas. That's the one area you can point to as a weakness. Mm-hmm. So depending on how well that holds up will be how far they can go in the NCAA tournament.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Rogers. 9th pitch of the plate appearance. Ball 4. Second walk issued by Nikhazy.
It's a little uncharacteristic for Georgia to have these long at-bats. They're very aggressive, put a lot of balls in play early on, but it's really playing into their advantage of getting into that bullpen and maybe seeing some middle relief early on. Nikhazy's already up to 64 pitches here just in the 4th inning, having 3 complete. So a byproduct of all those strikeouts, he's had to throw a lot of pitches to get there.
Harbor struck out looking his first time up. Ball 1 to Harbor. And Mike Bianco going to come out and pay a visit. Always been a big fan of Mike Bianco. Enjoyed watching him in his career at Ole Miss. Had a great conversation with him as they were bussing over from Athens. Let's take a look at the breakdown. 41 strikes out of the 64 pitches thrown. And Mike, he played for Skip Bertman, and he has joined Skip Bertman in an exclusive category. He's the only active SEC coach with 800 wins in conference play. And there's only two others, Ron Polk and Skip Burtman, that have done that ever. So take a look at the resume. 21st season as the head coach at Ole Miss. Was at McNeese for 3 years before that. Over 900 victories on his resume. One of 16 active coaches with 900 plus victories. Joining in the conference, Maneri and Van Horn. But neither Maneri or Van Horn has 800 SEC victories. Bianco's got that by himself. 1-1 pitch. This tie, 2-1. Winning record in the conference under Bianco, 14 of his 20 seasons. 3-1, and all of a sudden Nick Casey's having some trouble with location here.
He was really pinpoint for those first 3 innings, and between Rogers and having that long at bat, he seems to have thrown him off a little bit.
3-1 to Harbor, swing and a miss. Came back fastball right there, 3-2. Fouled off the mask of Dunhurst. Hopefully he's okay.
I got him in the throwing arm, I think. Missed the padding, got him right there on the
I thought it hit off
his right arm, yeah.
Did it not hit his mask first? No?
No, it just got him right there in the
oh yeah, you're right.
Right in the shoulder. Okay, so it did get the padding. I thought it might have gotten a little bit lower, but you could see him immediately kind of wince.
You see, you're always on that. I thought it hit his mask, but as a former catcher, you know where those balls find you, don't you?
Oh yeah, I know the ones that hurt too. That one does not feel good. That little pad is mostly for show right there.
It's decoration. An accessory. Hit to the second baseman, Chatinier. They go to second. Gonzalez not in time to get the double play. Gonzalez got it out of there in a hurry, though, at second base. They get the leadoff runner there, and there's one down in the inning.
Yeah, that was a heck of an effort right there between Chatinier and Gonzalez. Chatinier had to go to his left pretty good, so that was a good feed to get it to Gonzalez. And as you mentioned, a good exchange. Harbor really got down the line to beat this thing out.
Harbor's a great athlete. He was a high school quarterback at Westminster there in Atlanta.
Yeah, that was a very clean turn. Harbor was definitely hustling to get there in time.
Got the oven mitt on. Protect that throwing hand. How did you guys play without oven mitts and shin guards and
I didn't have to worry about it.
Elbow pads, and
I didn't run fast enough to slide head first, so
Blaylock walked his first time up. 1 of 2 issued by Nick Casey tonight. Harbor down at first, 1 out in the inning. Called strike. Rebels in the navy blue cardinal red tonight. Classic uniforms, 2-1 pitch. Blaylock went around, it's 2-2.
Casey has just such deception in that motion. Really kind of turns his back. His front shoulders might be pointing behind a left-handed hitter. He steps across a little bit. He's already on that side of the mound. It's got to be very tough for these lefties to pick up the ball.
Were you a sweat-stained cap guy?
Oh, yeah. When I wore one. Absolutely.
Oh, that's right. You usually wore the Baden helmet behind the plate. Called strike 3. Nikhazy with 8 of those. Strikeouts, that is.
See, that back's completely turned, hides the ball well, has a short arm, good shoulder tilt.
Now batting number 31,
Being 88, 90, I feel like the effective velocity is probably closer to like 92, 93. The way that ball just kind of jumps after he hides it, so.
2 down in the inning. Number 8 hitter Riley King at the plate. Fouls it off his leg. You know I like to play this game, so nastiest baseball cap ever, Major League history.
Major League, I remember Bauer was, he had the same hat. You mean?
You talking about Bagwell with the helmet and the nasty hand?
Well, Bagwell, I was talking about UCLA.
Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer, yeah. His was the nastiest hat I think I've seen in baseball.
Was it nasty? I mean, remember John Wetland?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, that hat looked like he'd I don't know what, they put it out in the road to be run over. Put it back on.
Need to see the equipment manager.
No balls, 2 strikes. Nasty. In the air and out of play. Casey got a while to go to get to wetland status. Well, Google it. Check it out. No balls, 2 strikes. In the air and out of play again. Best time of the year for college baseball. I love this time of the year. You get to May, the games are so important, so big. Postseason play begins next week. You know, you and I were having a discussion about, and I know this has been kicked around for so many years and so probably never going to happen, them playing in the summer. Because, I mean, it's just now getting good and now it's going to end.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea. It helps those northern teams, helps them thaw out, get outside and play some ball before a lot of those northern teams come down south just to play the first portion of their season.
Practice, just so they can practice outdoors. Swing and a miss. They got King. Dunhurst picks it up, throws him out, inning over. Georgia strands another. And they still trail 1-0 as the Rebels come to bat in the 5th. 8 strikeouts now for Nikhazy. Game recap. Luke Wagner started this one for Georgia. Was pitching well until this. Justin Bench, line drive off the leg. Wagner had to come out of the ball game. Then Riley King robbing Dunhurst at the wall. Then Polk comes in for Georgia. He's been pitching well. It is a 1-0 game. Rebels on top here in the top of the 5th. Nikhazy with 9 strikeouts. I didn't add the last one before we went to break. So 9 total strikeouts for Nikhazy as the Rebels bat here in the 5th. Polk, this is a career high, 2 1/3 innings. He'd never gone more than 2. So now he is at, this will be the 11th batter that he's faced. He's at 40 total pitches. And Georgia's made another change, so Riley King's had to come out of the game too. Spikes now takes over in right field. So Georgia's had to sub out 3 guys here before halfway through the game because of leg injuries. Wagner, Connor Tate, and now Riley King, all out of the game. Not an ideal way to start a series that you feel like you got to win to get in the NCAA tournament. But Georgia hanging tough with the 13th ranked Rebels right now. Ole Miss on top 1-0. Ole Miss knows all about injuries, and this guy in particular, Elko. Swings and misses. Second time that Elko has struck out.
Well executed fastball up in the zone. It's always a risky pitch to a big-time power hitter like Elko, but A little bit longer right there, longer arms, I should say, unable to get on top of it, executed well by Polk.
3 strikeouts now for Polk. Here's Leatherwood. Got off to a slow start this season, but he has really played well since they got into conference play. Bianco says that's one of the reasons why the Rebels offense has been so good. They lost Elko, but then Leatherwood, Baker, and Van Cleve really started to pick it up. Van Cleve, a DH who's not in the lineup tonight. He was in the lineup until he was scratched in favor of Elko in that DH spot. They put the shift on. Don't need it. Polk, back-to-back strikeouts, and that is 4 for him.
And Polk really starting to settle in here, filling the strike zone up. Good execution there again on the high fastball.
Career high for him, actually matches his career high. He had 4. It looks like against Vanderbilt back in that 14-2 win. I think there's something to be said. Do you think Polk would have been as effective if he had been named the starter?
A lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. You get thrown into it, don't have time to think about it, get nervous about it. Think, oh, wow, I'm pitching against Ole Miss. I'm pitching in a series we got to win. It's the last Thursday night of the SEC regular season.
No, I think that's a great point. Oh, what, me? I got to go? Okay, let's go. You're not really worried about your mechanics. You're not overthinking it. You just go out there and try and do your best.
0-2 to Baker. Polk trying to strike out the side.
Overthrew that one a little bit. That was supposed to be up in the zone as well. Kind of drove it down there for Gonzalez.
One, 2. Called strike 3. Welcome to the big time. Michael Polk strikes out the side. Elko swinging. Leatherwood swinging. Baker looking. We head to the bottom of the 5th. 1-0. 4 scoreless innings for Doug Nikhazy. He's allowed 3 hits. He's walked 2. He has struck out 9 of the 17 batters that he's faced.
Yeah, really just had all 4 pitches going. Mixed in that slider, had a good changeup. Really locating the fastball well on the inside part of the plate. I think establishing that inside part early on has really paid dividends for him. The one drawback is just the high pitch count to this point. As he's at 80, he'll be throwing his 82nd pitch to start this inning. Georgia done a good job of extending some of those at-bats on the strikeouts, just getting him to throw a lot of pitches.
He's got a real shot at a career high here, 12 being that number. He's done it a number of occasions, most recently against Mississippi State. Kind of surprised that it's not higher, maybe like 14 or 15, but it is. It's pitch count kind of thing, and he might not get it here tonight because of the pitch count. Ben Anderson, ball 1. Anderson popped up to bench the third baseman his first time up. In the air to left field. Graham, his first action of the night. Break down Nikhazy by inning. Remember in the first inning, he struck out 4 batters.
Yes.
Got Tate on a swing and a miss wild pitch he reached. So he ended up striking out all 4 batters that he faced in the first.
But an extra batter he did have to face in that first inning, and extra pitches he had to throw. So
McAllister draws the walk, hit by the pitch, off-speed pitch.
I like that. McAllister holding his ground there. The rule is you have to make an attempt to get out of the way, but that's a breaking ball. You don't really know if it's going to break late, so he just held his ground. Didn't look like he stuck anything out in the way. So we'll see here. I like that. I mean, guy's going to come in on you and try and establish that inside part of the plate. If you just hold your ground, it's going to be a little less likely to, or it's going to be a little bit harder. It's going to seem like a smaller target to throw to.
Right.
And maybe take away that weapon that he's used so effectively here in the first 4 and 3rd innings he's pitched.
They'll review this. Now, here's one of the things. It's not just McAllister. It's anybody in this situation, regardless of the team. What happens is when the ball comes in on you, you kind of flex your leg. You kind of bend your leg to absorb the hit. And when you do, it creates the illusion that you may have stuck your leg out there.
Yeah, and that's a tough angle, too. I think it's better right there. You see that knee's kind of bending in.
It's bending in, not out.
Yeah. It's bending back towards the
catcher.
But
it creates the illusion from that center field camera that he might have jutted his leg out when actually he's just bending the leg to absorb the hit.
I think it's got to be pretty obvious to make him come back. Now, whether or not they want to say he didn't make an attempt to get out of the way, again, call on the field.
Yeah, he's in the batter's box.
He is. That's true.
I mean, the batter's box is yours as the hitter.
And that's part of the game as a hitter, to kind of take away that inside part of the plate from a pitcher. Just hold your ground. Say, you better be really accurate here, because if you miss just a little bit, I'm going to get a free base.
So they continue to review. And the decision is he's at first base.
I think that's the right call right there.
I do too. So the Bulldogs have another base runner. They have stranded 5 in this game.
Now batting number 15, Cole Tate.
So they've had some opportunities, not great opportunities, but they've certainly had opportunities against Nikhazy more than the Rebels have had against Polk or Wagner. But Ole Miss leads 1-0. Hank Stewart along with Jason Jacobs. Thanks for joining us here. Opener of this 3-game regular season ending series. And Tate scorches that one to center field. McCants has it measured out there. Not a lot of travel. We pointed that out earlier. Not a lot of travel in the ball in the outfield tonight.
Yeah, but one of the better hit balls off of Nikhazy.
Right.
Not only has he been striking a lot of guys out, nobody's really hit a ball hard. I would say Cheney Rogers' first hit of the game was a nice sharp single through the infield. That's about the only hard hit ball up until that point that has been put in play off Nikhazy.
You think it's because we have low humidity?
As far as the ball not traveling?
Yeah.
I would think low humidity would help the travel.
I thought the hotter it gets, the more humid it gets, the farther the ball travels.
Yeah, I don't know.
Neither do I. I'm just making it up as I go along.
I know when it's hotter, the bat, reacts a little bit better versus cold. That brittle bat hurts when you get jammed.
Jernigan. It just seems to me when it gets hotter, the ball travels faster.
Yes, it does.
By no means is it cool here tonight, but it isn't hot either. It's nice. 1-1 pitch to Jernigan. 2-1. This will be the 90th pitch for Nikhazy. So Georgia likely going to get into that bullpen. Jernigan swings and misses. So Georgia now has Jernigan and Spikes in the outfield. Combined, that's right at 70 at-bats between them. Jernigan goes down swinging. Nikhazy gets strikeout number 10. 6th consecutive game the Rebels staff has struck out at least 10. Top of the 6th inning here at Foley Field. Final Thursday night of the regular season. Number 13 Ole Miss leading Georgia 1-0 here as the Rebels bat again. Top of the order again for the third time. McCants, Chatinier, and Gonzalez due up against Michael Polk, who's pitching the best game of his Georgia career. Came in for Luke Wagner after 5 batters, and McCants pokes that into right field for a base hit. Hit number 3 for the Rebels. And McCants has 2 of them.
Now batting number 1, Peyton Chatinier.
Chatinier takes a long look down at third base coach Mike Clement. Looks like he's getting ready to shoot a bow and arrow. In there for a strike. Didn't it?
Kind of did.
He's got it pulled back, getting ready to go do some bow hunting. There you go. Here we go. Got the deer in his sights. Oh and 1 to Chatinier, missed low. It's 1-1. It's out of Cypress, Texas. I think out there you hunt armadillos. Throw it to first. That was close. McCants already has his 10th stolen base of the season tonight. Nearly caught him leaning that time. Look at that. Had that stutter step moving back towards second. Had to dive back in head first.
Good count to go on. You're anticipating breaking ball right there. Showed his hand a little early, did McCants.
One pitch. Fouled out of play. 1-2 now to Chatinier. '84th all-time meeting between the Bulldogs and Rebels dating back to 1929. Ole Miss leads the series 44 victories against 39 for Georgia. These two teams last met in the 2019 SEC tournament with the Rebels beating the Dogs 5-3. 1-2 pitch. Ooh, wow. And what did that hit? Helmet? Must have hit the helmet. Fortunately, Chatinier was quick enough to keep from taking a full blow to the head. Caught the ear flap.
I got that front shoulder first. Nope, the ear flap.
A glancing blow instead of a full contact on the helmet.
That was a close one, though. It kind of makes your heart stop. You see that happen.
No doubt about it.
Gonzalez comes out to give the bunt defense, anticipating a bunt. That would be a very unsettling sign to receive as a batter after the last guy almost got hit in the head.
Well, it takes you back to earlier in the week in the Mets and the Braves series. Yeah. Jacob Webb hit Pilar right in the face. Oh my gosh, was that scary. Gonzalez to a board for the Rebels. Cranks this one foul a long way, but out of play. Up on the street. On Rutherford. Right?
I believe so.
I know exactly. We've been driving that road, what, 30 years? Is that Rutherford?
It's getting more and more narrow
exactly.
every year.
Exactly. As the football facility encroaches on it, right?
That's right.
0-1. Gonzalez hits this one to dead away center field, but they got it measured out there. McCants going to tag. Here comes the throw from Anderson right into second base. So now runners at the corners. and 1 down in the inning.
Now batting number 35, Kevin Graham.
Here's Kevin Graham. With McCants down at third, a chance to double the lead right here. Graham team leading 11 home runs, 44 RBI, number 6 in the SEC with 69 hits on the year. Strike to Graham. Freshman All-American back in 2019, double-digit home runs first year on campus, but has really improved against left-handed pitching and against off-speed pitches. Made a big jump this year. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Polk sent it by him with 90 miles per hour. He has been a big-time force for the Rebels since Elko was lost from the everyday lineup. Good to hear the crowd, isn't it? 0-2 pitch to left field. That's going to score McCants. Jernigan makes the catch, spins and throws the second. McCants scores on the sac fly. Ole Miss has a 2-0 lead. So give Graham his 45th RBI of the year.
A good piece of hitting right there, just getting it to the outfield. With 2 strikes, making sure you get something in play. Gets that second run across for Ole Miss. And manufacturing any way they can, just 3 hits, able to score 2 runs.
Here's Bench, hit his 5th home run of the season, a Soto shot in that 9-7 loss to the Skyhawks on Tuesday night. Danko wasn't happy about it. Wasn't totally upset about it either. Just recognizes it's hard sometimes. A little blooper hit to McAllister for out number 3, but the Rebels add another on the sac fly. We'll head to the bottom half. Ole Miss on top 2-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, we've had a pitcher's duel. We knew that Nikhazy would do his part, but the Wagner-Polk combination has been the big surprise.
No, it's been fantastic, and both in different ways. Wagner was really locked in with his command and had everything working up until he got hit. And Polk kind of been a little bit of everything, but gotten the big out when he's needed to. And you really see the stuff. But the command's just kind of coming along. Nikhazy has been spectacular.
Yep. This will be his 93rd pitch to start the 6th. And Gonzalez hits this to the shortstop. Gonzalez, who throws it away. And Gonzalez, they throw it away again, and Gonzalez will hold at second base. So Jacob Gonzalez commits his 12th error of the season, throwing off balance to first base, airmailed it, allowing Fernando Gonzalez to reach.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez had a little bit more time than he thought. Could have set his feet right there. He liked to kind of throw on the run, get around this ball and throw on the run. And Gonzalez able to get into second. So leadoff man for Georgia reaches and gets into scoring position. And that's only the second batter they've had in scoring position in this game.
So a chance for Georgia here in the bottom of the 6th with nobody out. Chaney Rogers stepping to the plate as one of Georgia's 4 hits tonight. They have scored that a hit, by the way, so they did give Gonzalez an error on the throw, but they're going to score it a base hit and an error. The overthrow allowing Gonzalez to reach second base. But I agree with you. If Jacob Gonzalez sets his feet, he probably throws out. Fernando Gonzalez, the catcher, probably rushed the throw, had more time than he thought to make that throw.
Yeah, I think he could have used his backhand and then shuffled over there and made a nice easy throw with Gonzalez running.
1-0 to Rogers, caught by Baker. They've got Fernando Gonzalez doubled off second. Base is empty now for Georgia.
Oh, it's tough right there. Gonzalez just reacting the wrong way. Hard hit ball there by Rogers. It's a base runner. You want it to go through, and you assume it does. You take that step, and next thing you know, someone's playing right there, makes a good play and doubles you off.
So here's Harbor as Georgia's rally here in the second. About to die a quick death unless Harbor can get a base hit here. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the fourth. One ball, one strike. Activity in the Ole Miss bullpen as Nikhazy approaches 100 pitches. It's now 1-2. Harbor, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11 for Nikhazy to end the sixth. Head to the seventh. Rebels batting with the lead when we get back. Top of the seventh, Ole Miss on top 2-0. Polk is done for the night. Whether the Bulldogs win or lose, Michael Polk, with the best outing of his Georgia career, goes 4 1/3, struck out a career-high 5, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits and a walk. Pitched very well. 6 fly ball outs and 2 ground outs. And Darren Pasqua now in for Georgia. And Pasqua making his 22nd appearance of the season, all out of the pen, 2-3, 5.67 ERA. He's only walked 7, but he's also given up 6 home runs.
Yeah, pinpoint command, and early on in the season he had a little bit of late action. As the season's kind of worn on, some things have flattened out, and I think that's where you're starting to see some of the balls leave the yard. Doesn't have overpowering stuff, but has good command of all 4 pitches. So you go ahead and get on top of that ball, get a little action downward, get some ground ball outs. Pasqua's definitely not going to shoot himself in the foot with the walks.
Here's Dunhurst. Got robbed of a home run by Riley King back in the second inning. Strike from Pasqua. It's 1-1. Dunhurst, sophomore. Looks like a catcher. 5'11", 220 out of Pearl River Central High School. Takes a big cut. Big-time prospect, high-profile signee for the Rebels. Shoots this one foul over on the first base side. Tris Cleary, the first base coach, did the Ole. Let it go by him. One-two from Pasqua. Fastball out of the zone. Pasqua, another one of the young men who graduated this past week. 4th-year junior. Didn't even play his 2018 freshman academic year. Tried out for the team in 2019 and made it. Ball 4.
Now batting number 25, Tim Elko.
Here's Elko. Suffered the ACL injury in April. 33 days later, he hit his 10th home run of the season off of Texas A&M. This week, named to the SEC Community Service Team for the second time in his career. And fouled that one off Gonzalez. Home plate umpire Tyler Simpson will run out there and hand the ball to Pasqua, give Gonzalez a chance to shake it off. Riley King was the SEC All-Community Team winner for the Bulldogs. It's just amazing when you read the accomplishments, the things these guys do. Line drive base hit. Elko will reach first base. You can see he can barely make it to first. Let's see if they'll pinch run for him here.
Yeah, watching him come out of the box and just round first, you could see him very gingerly.
When he was making the turn, I thought his leg was going to give out on him. Watch him, look, he kind of fades on him right here.
Yeah, right there.
I was worried about him. They're going to pinch run for him.
They're going to pinch run.
John Rice Plumlee, the football star, going to pinch run for him here. Getting an ovation here, and rightfully so, much deserved. Kid played with a lot of courage. But as I watched him make that big wide turn, my heart kind of skipped a beat him on. I was like, oh my gosh, his leg's not going to give out on him, is it? So good to see it. Third hit from him since he came back from the injury. There's Plumlee, quarterback and most recently wide receiver in the Rebels football program. Leatherwood at the plate. No balls, 2 strikes to Leatherwood. Plumlee at one time was actually committed to play at Georgia football. Ended up going to the Rebels. Started 8 games, I believe, as a freshman quarterback. Swing and a miss. Moved to wide receiver this past season as Leatherwood goes down swinging, at least late in the year. Got some action at the wideout position. Always feel like they're getting ready to pull cookies out of the oven or something.
It really does look like an oven mitt.
Go get the chocolate chip cookies out of the oven. Don't burn your hand. There's Baker. I know this will date me, but he reminds me of John Kruk just from the right side.
Yeah, that's perfect.
John Kruk just batting from the right side.
That is one heck of a look he's got going on. I love the hair. Just fantastic.
0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Gonzalez picks it up. Hey, Baker won the Triple Crown in junior college. Led the nation in homers, RBI, batting average at Wabash. Oh, 2. Got him. Ball bounces away. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Baker goes down on strikes, but now 2 in scoring position with 2 out in the inning. This guy's been the hottest guy in the order. I think Strickland might go lefty here. Strickland out of the dugout, probably going to go lefty-lefty matchup. Is that Caldwell?
I think it is.
Who else could it be? Caldwell's the lefty in the pen. Colin Caldwell coming in with runners at second and third. Pasqua gets an ovation as he heads to the dugout. All right, SEC scoreboard, top of the 8th. LSU and A&M tied 1-1 Bluebell Park. Arkansas leading Florida 3-1. Arkansas trying to go 10-0. They've won all 9 of their SEC series to date. Amazing. Mississippi State, after getting stunned by Mizzou last week, leading Alabama 4-2. Tennessee 7-2 lead on South Carolina. They're still trying to win the East. How about Auburn? You know, nothing against Missouri. I think we're all pulling for Butch Thompson, though.
Yep.
Fan favorite here. Tigers lead Missouri 6-0, top of the 6th. And Kentucky and Vandy 2-2, top of the 7th. Here it is 2-0. Rebels on top, and Colin Caldwell coming in for his 22nd appearance. The lefty to face the lefty, T.J. McCants, who has 2 of the Rebels' 4 hits tonight. As you take a look at Colin Caldwell's numbers.
Yeah, Caldwell, the lefty specialist, as we mentioned, kind of a low 3/4 arm slot. Ball's going to look like it's almost coming from behind that left-handed batter. Got a sweeping slider, a swing and miss pitch.
2 saves for Caldwell this season. Both of them came early in the year against Evansville and Gardner-Webb. Had a blown save against Kennesaw. Here, no save opportunity, just trying to keep Ole Miss from adding to their 2-0 lead and facing McCants, who is 2 for 3 tonight. McCants having already picked up his 18th multi-hit game of the season after batting .417 with a homer and a couple of stolen bases, 4 runs scored in the series against Vandy last weekend. 1-0 pitch, and he rifles this one down the line, and it's going to fall foul. That would have scored 2 runs easily and doubled up the Ole Miss lead and made it very difficult for any kind of a Georgia comeback tonight. Going to be difficult enough with Nikhazy at 11 strikeouts, and then Broadway sitting down there ready to come in.
You've got him looming. It's late enough. They might go to him earlier than the 9th.
He's the difference maker. What I mean by that is, you know, Ole Miss has a great hitting team. Nikhazy, they had Hoagland. Broadway, not a lot of teams got a Broadway.
No. And when you can shorten a ball game like that, it really helps, especially in these ball games, these tight pitchers' duels.
2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Love to hear the crowd. You don't realize how much you missed it until you realize how much you missed it. 2-2. Got him! Caldwell had one job to do, and he did it. Strikes out McCants with 2 in scoring position. Keeps the game 2-0 with the Bulldogs coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th when we get back. Bottom of the 7th inning, Ole Miss leading Georgia 2-0. Matt Stewart joined by Jason Jacobs, joined by you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Look at Nikhazy, 11 strikeouts. He is 1 off matching his career high as he will go over 100 pitches in this inning. 6 scoreless innings of 4-hit ball. And it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, only 2 runners have reached scoring position. And I think Rogers probably the best hit balls of the evening. One of them was a hit, one of them was a line drive double play. So Nikhazy's done a great job at missing barrels and missing bats altogether with the 11 strikeouts.
Blaylock struck out looking his last time up. 12 strikeouts, the career high for Nikhazy, most recently in their 9-0 win against Mississippi State about a month ago. 66 of his 100 pitches have been strikes. Straight up the chute. Going to get lost in the dark. Bench has it measured. 1 out. Garrett Spikes going to bat for the first time.
Number 7, Garrett Spikes.
He's batting in the spot that Riley King was in. Spikes 219, no homers, 2 RBI. Called strike from Nikhazy. Spikes 7 for 32 on the year. All singles. Oh, 1. Missed low, 1-1. This has been the first time all season long, and of course, 100% capacity allowed. We don't have 100% capacity here, but 100% capacity allowed at Foley Field tonight. It's the first time we've had a real, what I would recall and remember as an SEC atmosphere for a baseball game. We've had nothing against the crowds, but when you're only allowed to have 600 people here.
Yeah, there's just not the same energy.
Spikes becomes the 12th strikeout victim for Nikhazy as he matches his career high.
Now batting number 44, Ben Anderson.
And that fastball is 88-90, but I just feel like with Casey's motion and the deception that he has, it just seems to be really sneaking up on these hitters late in the game. You know, he's had 105 pitches and still kind of jumping on them at the end.
Ben Anderson 0 for 2. Flown out twice. Popped up to the third baseman, flew out to the left fielder. Anderson, who started his career at Furman, was a freshman All-American. One of the 6 who graduated within the past week, fourth-year junior. Two and 1. Nikhazy has earned SEC Pitcher of the Week honors this year as the count goes 2-2. We've had 6 players earn SEC weekly honors this year, a total of 7 times. Gonzalez, the shortstop, of course, twice, and current freshman of the week. 2-2, called strike 3, new career high for Doug Nikhazy. It is a hashtag Doug Day. 13K for Nikhazy as he gets Anderson looking to end the 7th. We'll head to the 8th, 2-0 Rebels. There, the Ole Miss fans hanging out here at Foley Field, come to support the Rebels, all the way from Oxford. Top of the 8th, and number 13, Ole Miss, gunning for their 17th conference win of the season. And they're still trying to get a top 4 seed. Chatagnier at the plate. They got a shot at it. They got to overcome Florida and Mississippi State. Both of them tied for that 4 spot, the 4 and the 5 spot. And Ole Miss right now locked into what would be the 6th spot. And Ole Miss lost the tiebreaker to both those teams. In fact, the only victory they had against Mississippi State was that 12 strikeout game for Nikhazy back in mid-April. As you take a look at the SEC postseason projections, 8 teams projected to get in the tournament right now. Georgia being one of them, as Chatagnier shoots to the left. 5th hit for the Rebels. Yeah, right now D1 baseball this week had Ole Miss projected as a #1 seed in their regional, the Oxford, Mississippi regional, and had #2 Georgia Tech in there with them, #3 South Alabama out of the Sun Belt, and #4 SEMO, Southeast Missouri State. Gonzalez, base hit, rolls it in the hole. First and second for the Rebels.
Yeah, Tate really shifted over. Had Gonzalez played the pull, I feel like Gonzalez left on left, let that ball travel, did a good job getting on top of it, and get one of those CNI singles. It felt like off the bat had a chance at maybe a double play. You see Tate playing well up the middle right there, and Gonzalez just taking advantage, hitting him where he isn't.
Smart player, 73rd hit of the season for Gonzalez. Chance for the Rebels to add to their lead here with Graham up. Graham drove in the second run for Ole Miss, back in the 6th with his sac fly. Officially 0 for 1 in the game, but he has extended his on-base streak to 46 consecutive games. Did that with a 4th inning walk. 0-1 backed him off the plate a little bit. 1-1. Probably the last batter that Caldwell faces here, because after Graham, you get back into a right, left, right, left, right, left kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like they got Pearson getting warmed up in the bullpen as well.
At the top of this order with a little nubber, cue ball shot, third baseman Harbor throws across and safe. Didn't go for the out at third base. That was the best bet he had, wasn't it?
I think so. I think he got a little confused there. He was thinking off the bat he's going to step on third, go over to first, and once he realized he probably wasn't going to be able to go over to first in time, he just kind of panicked and threw it.
He's going to step in front of the bag. He's going to get there long before Chatagnier. Instead, he tried to take the long way home and got nothing.
Again, a freshman mistake right there, just trying to make something out of nothing, really, or trying to make more out of something that he had right in front of him.
And Caldwell facing bench here. Surprisingly enough, they're going to stick with the left-hander, bases loaded, and the infield in, and Ole Miss a great opportunity here to blow this game open. You know, it's hard to guess, second guess, speed of the game. I'm not out there, but it looked like third base was his best shot.
I think once that ball was cued, you got to think just field it and get it out at that point. And it looked to me like he was trying to set himself up to step on the bag and throw across instead of just hustling to the bag and beating him out in the foot race. But
take the out that's right there, not the one that's across the field. 1-1, popped up, foul territory. Rogers giving chase and makes the catch over the shoulder, throws to the plate. Now they've got a pickle. Gonzalez throws down to second. And now they've got the pickle at third base, goes to Gonzalez. And Gonzalez runs him back to the bag and gets the out there.
What a play.
Great double play by Georgia. Rogers may have saved Georgia's bacon in the inning here by making an over-the-shoulder catch and quickly firing to the plate. And then Gonzalez did what you're supposed to do, run the guy back to the other base.
Yeah, this is an incredible catch to begin with. You see Rogers playing in on the grass, has a long way to run, makes an incredible catch, has the presence of mind to turn around, make a good throw home. And then you see he got runners all over the place. Tate does a great job right there, never going into a full sprint so that he has the ability to throw. And then you got the two runners, and Gonzalez just chases them back. Nice and easy, gets the double play.
So now 2 out in the inning. And Dunhurst fouls that one out of play. And now Caldwell has got a chance to get out of this jam with no runs scored. Keep Georgia in the game. Second and third for the Rebels. So after Georgia had made a mistake in the field with Harbor, they came back and redeemed themselves by turning 2 great plays.
Yeah, I mean,
in one.
Rogers right there. I mean, that's all him. What a great catch, and then an amazing throw to home, pretty much blind. And the rest is just good team fundamentals.
0-2, called strike 3. Caldwell with a huge strikeout, and Georgia gets out of an improbable bases-loaded situation, nobody out, by keeping the Rebels from scoring. Second consecutive inning that lefty Caldwell gets a big strikeout to end the frame. Georgia's still in the game, surprisingly. Bottom of the 8th inning, it's still 2-0. Didn't know that we'd be saying that after Ole Miss loaded the bases in the top of the 8th. And now Nikhazy, after striking out a career-high 13, gives way to the Rebels' dude, their guy, their stopper, Taylor Broadway.
Yeah, and Broadway's just, it's kind of a hybrid in a sense of, it's a closer with a power arm, but he's also got a great curveball, great slider, mix in an occasional changeup, can get you out in so many different ways. Got the stamina to go maybe all 3 games and maybe pitch you different each time you see him.
Yep.
So, like I said, fastball in the mid-90s, power curveball, power slider, and he's got great command of all 4 of his pitches. You might see the changeup in a jam, but it's definitely his 4th best. Georgia's going to have their hands full trying to score 2 runs off him.
He leads the SEC with 10 saves. He leads the SEC having finished 21 games, 4-2, 3.37 ERA. That walk-to-strikeout ratio off the charts. 48 strikeouts and 7 walks in 34 2/3 innings. So nearly a strikeout and a half per inning. And McAllister, top of the order, due up here for Georgia. Cole Tate, Jernigan as well, but we might see Corey Collins pinch hit, I'm thinking. If Georgia has somebody to sub in and play the outfield.
That's right. That bench is getting thin.
Here's the 0-2 from Broadway, and McAllister just got a piece of that. And to me, this is what makes Ole Miss so different than other teams. This guy right here.
Now, when you can shorten game, it's we were able to do it in both the successful years we had in 04 and 06 with Will Startup and then Josh Fields. So it's a big difference when you can play a 7-inning ball game.
49th strikeout of the season for Broadway. McAllister, his first victim.
Just a good heater there. McAllister, a great fastball hitter. But you blinked, and McAllister was behind 0-2. And I think that's what Broadway does so well. He's just got such good command, gets ahead early, and then has the nasty stuff to put you away late.
You know, and Bianco talking about Broadway said, you know, your truly great closers are guys that, you know, they're going to get knocked down sometime. They're not going to win all the time. They're not going to be 100% effective. But they're the guys that can handle that.
Yeah.
The guys that mentally can handle the fact that sometimes you're going to take your lumps, but you got to get back out there. A lot like a cornerback in football. You know, a cornerback in football, it's just a fact of life. You're going to get burned. Yeah. You're going to give up a touchdown. It's, do you bounce back? Do you win more battles than you lose? Two balls, no strikes to Cole Tate. Ball 3. .30 to Tate. Right down the plate, 94. And you hit the nail on the head. I mean, how many closers at any level have a 4-pitch mix?
Yeah, it's usually just 2 good ones.
Yep.
But, you know, he really does have 3 quality and a good changeup.
That ball is cranked to center field. McCants gives it a run, and right there in front of the track has it for out number 2.
Yeah, second deep fly out there for Tate. And the ball's just not carrying. It's a strange night. Light air. Feels like it should be carrying. Not a whole lot of wind, but the ball's just kind of dying out there.
Yep. Well, the home run that I thought had been hit by Dunhurst was evidence of that back in the second inning. I thought that thing was hitting the scoreboard, and King made a catch at the wall. So here's Corey Collins going to pinch hit. Not surprised here that this is the move that Strickland's making now that they have the right-hander in the game. Super freshman, he was really going good when he suffered that hamstring injury back in the early part of the season. Even SEC Freshman of the Week, coming off that honor very next game, man, the hamstring. And, that's not to say he hasn't been successful since, but that slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely took the wind out of his sails. I also think, that freshman wall you kind of hit, coming off of a shortened season as it was his last year at high school.
Rifles this one down the line, and it's going to fall. Collins hits first. He's headed for second and slides in there with a double. Well, Corey Collins had started 47 of the Bulldogs' 50 games. They'll pinch run for him here. This was one of the rare non-starts for him, and he came in swinging.
Yeah, got a fastball. That's what you got to do against a guy like Broadway. You got to, hit the first pitch you see that's hittable, because he's got that swing and miss stuff. He does a good job, gets the ball up in the zone, able to keep it fair there down the line.
He's going to be a big-time star in this league.
Yep. I think so. I think, a couple years you could be looking at him like a Dunhurst type of guy.
Yeah.
Good behind the plate, good at the plate.
Guidry going to run for him. Georgia down 2 here. Gonzalez batting. Gonzalez 2 home runs, 13 RBI. His last home run was that grand slam. Now 2-0. Yeah, his first career home run was that 3-run homer in that 17-6 rout of Kentucky. Then he hit a grand slam against Auburn in the 4-0 win.
Broadway falling behind 3-0 as he did with Cole Tate 2 batters ago. A little uncharacteristic for him.
Three balls, no strikes to Gonzalez with 2 out, and Guidry at second. Pinch running for Collins. Just been a great Friday night game on a Thursday night.
That's right.
3-0, called strike. Entire conference schedule moved up a day with the SEC tournament starting on Tuesday in Hoover. Georgia will be playing, most likely Alabama. Ole Miss will be playing. Right now it would be Kentucky. 3-1 popped up over our heads, and it's 3-2. And I dare say, is there a tougher conference tournament? I mean, you could have a season like Ole Miss is having, like Florida's having. You have to play a single elimination game on a Tuesday. I mean, my goodness. How hard could it be?
No rest for the weary in this league.
Out 3-2. Fouled back. It's been a fabulous pitcher's duel here tonight. Broadway in for Nikhazy. Struck out a career-high 13 Georgia Bulldogs this evening in 7 innings of work. And Georgia's had unlikely heroes on the mound as well. Wagner, Polk, Caldwell, Pasqua got in there. That ball is hit to left field, and it's going to be caught by Graham. He paused for a moment just to make sure he had it measured. He did. We're heading to the ninth. 2-0 Rebels. Top of the 9th inning here at Georgia. Ole Miss trying to win the series opener, leading this one 2-0. Willie Pearson coming on the pitch for Georgia. He'll be the 5th pitcher used by the Bulldogs tonight. Pearson making his 18th appearance, 2-0, 3.80 ERA. 15 strikeouts, 12 walks in just over 21 innings. Opponents hitting .275 against him.
Yeah, really kind of a sinker slider guy, ground ball type pitcher.
Yeah, early on in the season, remember Strickland compared him to Derek Lowe, real heavy pitch.
Yeah.
Heavy ball.
Yeah, just getting his feet under him, though, as a freshman.
Yep.
Again, you kind of see that walk to strikeout, 15 strikeouts, 12 walks, just that command at this level. Strike zone's a little more true than it was at the high school level. You got to learn how to miss bats, miss barrels in the zone.
Yep. Defensive changes for the Bulldogs. McAllister moves from second to left, and Guidry, who pinch ran for Collins, stays in the game to play second. So first pitch to Harris. Batting in Elko's spot in the DH. Calvin Harris, the freshman. True freshman catcher. Kind of the heir apparent to Dunhurst behind the plate in years going forward. He's out of Iowa. 1-1 pitch. Floats an off speed in there for a strike. 1-2. You know, never too old to learn. My conversation with Bianchi was telling me about Harris here. They in Iowa, they play their high school baseball in the summer.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's kind of what started our conversation about moving the season back a little bit.
But he injured himself pitching last summer, high school ball in Iowa. They didn't know he was going to play this year. In fact, they were kind of prepared that he wouldn't. But very interesting. So in Iowa, in the case of Calvin Harris here at Western Dubuque High School last year, after he graduated from high school, he still had his high school senior season of baseball to play. You see the numbers on the year for Harris. 226, a homer and 15 RBI. 14 hits total. Also has 4 doubles to go in that number. 2-2 from Pearson. Of course, Pearson out of North Oconee High School, which has developed into one of the high school powers here in the state of Georgia. Bubba Chandler, shortstop, right-handed pitcher, quarterback there at North Oconee. Projected first-round draft pick. Called strike 3. Calvin Harris goes down looking.
Not what Pearson was looking to do, being up in the zone right there, but you see all that movement and action on the ball. I think Harris kind of gave up on it, thinking it was going to be inside. It worked its way back over the plate.
Cade Salmon's batting for the first time. He came in defensively in the previous half inning. Salmon shows bunt and took that for a ball. It's 1-0. Back to put a bow on that North Oconee High School story. Not only Bubba Chandler, but Coach Scott Strickland's son, Cale, is a young budding star on that team as well. Sophomore for the Titans. Of course, Kumar Rocker played there too. You've heard of him.
He's okay.
He's just all right. 2-0 pitch. Called strike, 2-1. Ball 3 to Salmons. Cade out of Jackson, Tennessee. No relation to your former teammate Clint. 5-pitch walk.
Yeah. Old Sammy. Great teammate.
Yeah, went on to play in the Braves organization. He got a cup of coffee in the majors, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Now batting number 19, Cale Baker.
Here's Cale Baker. Cale John Kruk Baker. Oh for 3 tonight. Pitch out. Runner not going. Chaney Rogers, number 20. Defensive play of the night for the Bulldogs. I don't know. I mean, maybe Riley King did. Close second, though.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, might have been even better.
I think degree of difficulty on Rogers was just a slightly above.
Magnitude of play, too.
And magnitude as well, yeah. How far he had to run to catch that, and then the over-the-shoulder catch, the presence of mind to turn around and make a good throw home.
1 out, 1-0 rather, way outside, and there is 1 out. It's now 2-0. Yeah, I mean, Strickland was telling us this week that he thinks that Chaney Rogers is right there, like 1A, 1B with Patrick Sullivan, who, widely regarded as the best defensive first baseman the Bulldogs have had in quite some time. Tapper, foul. Patrick Sullivan's brother Liam will be the starting pitcher for the Bulldogs tomorrow night. He kind of came out of nowhere. Who thought that Liam by the end of the season would be in the Bulldogs starting rotation and pitching the way he has been pitching?
Yeah, got an opportunity to get a start. I don't think they expected him to go as deep as he did.
No, they did not.
Go 6 innings. Looked untouchable at times.
What was it, 11 Ks?
I think it was 11 Ks.
Against Arkansas?
That's one of those things, too. You're figuring out your role. Coming from high school into the college level, you're used to probably being a starter, and all of a sudden they get relegated to the bullpen as you normally would as a freshman. He gets a chance to start. Maybe that's his best role is as a starter. He's going to perform the best. He can prepare the best. All those things that kind of go with it.
Well, I would dare say, given what we have observed,
yes,
he's better as a starter.
He is much better as a starter.
We'll see him tomorrow night. Derek Diamond will be on the mound for the Rebels. That's game 2 tomorrow night. 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central for you folks watching in Mississippi or elsewhere. Still got to finish this one, though. Baker bounces it. Harbor down on his knees and throws him out. Nice play, Parks Harbor for the second out of the inning as Salmons advances to second.
A great play and good athleticism by Harbor. Again, just kind of taking a bad angle here. I think maybe if you can cut this thing off, you see him retreat right there, get stuck in no man's land on the high hop, but a good recovery. Great glove work to glove it. That second hop was, that's the tough one. It really jumps on you, so a good job there by Harbor to make sure of 1.
And Strickland, let's see, Georgia going to make a change here with McCants coming up, the left-handed bat. So they're going to go with Max DeYoung here. Well, interesting choice here by Strickland to bring in Max DeYoung, who will be making just his 3rd appearance of the season, just his 2nd in an SEC game. In fact, we were here about a month ago when he made his college debut against Georgia State and pitched a scoreless 8th inning with a couple of strikeouts in that 10-7 win. This is a right-hander out of Hillgrove High School in Powder Springs, Georgia, there in the Atlanta area. Interesting choice that they go with the young, but like we were talking about during the timeout, they got a scouting report, likely says he's got this pitch. McCants doesn't hit this pitch.
Yeah.
We're bringing him in.
It's the only thing I can really think of in this situation. It's not a lefty type of matchup or anything of that. So maybe with Pearson, in that 2 seam getting kind of flat, going right into McCants' bat, this just might be a better choice. Or perhaps DeYoung has a good breaking ball that just matches up well with McCants' weakness on the scouting report. And nevertheless, got a chance here to get a big out and give Georgia a shot going to the bottom of the 9th.
Well, this is certainly, I would say, the biggest outing of his career.
To this point, yeah.
Yeah, coming in to try to keep the lead at 2-0. You give your teammates a chance to try to win it in the bottom half or at least extend the game. Send it to extras in the bottom of the 9th or something. And facing McCants, who's got 2 of the Rebels' 7 hits tonight.
That looks like they're going to give McCants the
Well, there you go.
first base there, so it wasn't McCants that they were bringing him in for.
It was Chatinier they were looking ahead to.
And that does make some sense with Pearson being more of a ground ball guy and Chatinier having some pretty good speed out on the base paths. Is still just kind of curious at this point. But again, we're not looking at all the same information that Scott Strickland has.
So Chatinier will be the guy that DeYoung is facing after they intentionally walk McCants. Georgia, by the way, that's the 11th intentional walk, second most in the SEC. They do it a lot. They use that as a strategy quite a bit, more than most teams. Don't like the matchup, just pass on it. Move along to the next guy. DeYoung. 0-1 pitch to Chatinier. 94. A little low, though. 1-1. One pitch. 93 and got him by him. 1-2.
Got good angle on that fastball. It looks like it jumps pretty good. Yeah, I guess the surprising part is just the limited experience and bringing him in at such a big moment, but the stuff is there.
Showing a lot of confidence in him, no doubt about it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. 2-0 lead for the Rebels. Top of the 9th. DeYoung looks in. Gonzalez sets up. Chop foul down that third baseline. The umpires in attendance didn't like it.
Gonzalez doing a great job at kind of deking. Both last 2 pitches, he's looked like he's been calling for the ball to be in the dirt, trying to sell a breaking ball, and then the fastball's been coming out of DeYoung's hand.
2-2 pitch. In the air, should end the inning. Let's see who takes it. Cole Tate calls for it. Inning over. DeYoung does his job. A lot of heroes out of that Georgia bullpen tonight. Unlikely sources. Can the Bulldogs bats pick them up? 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. Lights of Broadway trying to shine here tonight for the Rebels. Taylor Broadway, the right-hander, looking to nail down his 11th save of the season, leads the SEC. Georgia trying to stop him. Rogers, Harbor, Blaylock due up for the Dogs here in the bottom of the ninth. Rogers with one of Georgia's 5 hits tonight, their first one back in the second. He has since walked and lined into a double play. 1-0 from Broadway. 2-0. Broadway falling behind to a number of batters here tonight, although he so far has done his job getting through a scoreless 8.
He's given up a couple of hard hit balls. They were outs, but a couple of balls been struck pretty well. Just not quite on his game tonight.
2-0, missed high, 3-0. Just been a scooch off with his location.
Didn't quite look comfortable out there either.
3-0. Walked him on 4 pitches. Tying run coming to the plate.
And these are the moments where it's nice having a crowd back too. You feel like the energy's raising up a little bit and putting that pitcher on the spot. Broadway here in the ninth going for a 6-out save. Very difficult thing to do in baseball in general.
Bianco gonna pay a mound visit.
A little surprised Bianco not covering his mouth up there. Saw him say breaking ball first pitch at one point in that conversation, so maybe out of habit.
Used to wearing the mask, not wearing them anymore.
Mask, that's right.
Doherty, the freshman, warming up in the pen. Bianco checking on him with the walkie-talkie. Harbor's had some moments this year, had the walk-off to beat Clemson here. Had a solo home run to walk off Kennesaw State. Line drive, right field, and it's caught. Out number 1. Salmons had him played perfectly. Harbor hit it on the button, but right at the right fielder, 1 down.
And Rogers very nearly made the same mistake Gonzalez did on Rogers' line drive, where he started to break, assuming that ball was going to be down since it was hard hit. Quickly chopped his steps and returned back to first to avoid that double play. Well struck ball, though, by Harbor.
Yep. Here is Garrett Blaylock. And again, he homered for the first time in 15 games back on Sunday at Florida. Goes after the first pitch, as he is most often done this season, fouled it out of play. He's a first pitch guy.
He is looking to swing early and often.
(0-1) to Blaylock, late on the 92, and it's 0-2. Oh for 2 night for Blaylock, walked in the second, struck out looking in the fourth, one of the 13 strikeouts that Doug Nikhazy racked up in his career high night, the 0-2, and Blaylock got a piece of that to stay alive. Matt Stewart, Jason Jacobs, thanks for joining us tonight. Opener of this 3-game SEC regular season ending series. We're back with you tomorrow night. 7 Eastern, 6 Central. And then again on Saturday, 2 and 1 Eastern and Central. 0-2. Stuck his bat out there and got a piece of it. remains 0-2. Got him. Change up.
Like a backdoor breaking ball coming off an expanded fastball away. Blaylock able to foul off the expanded fastball away, but right there, it's a backdoor breaking ball. I think he gave up on it as being high, but had that late drop. And again, Dunhurst catching it nice and deep. Make it look a little bit better for that home plate umpire.
So Broadway, 1 out away from his 11th save. 1 out away from the Rebels' 17th conference win of the season. Here's Spikes. Georgia's final hope. Rolls it to Chatinier. And the Ole Miss Rebels have defeated the Georgia Bulldogs 2-0. The final. Another shutout for this Rebels pitching staff as Ole Miss improves to 17-11. They stay very much in the mix for a top 4 seed. First round bye, Georgia's margin for error a little bit shorter now, 12-16 in the conference.
Yeah, and it's exactly how Coach Bianco drew it up. Nikhazy, spectacular for 7 innings. They turn it over to Broadway, who had some trouble, got hit a little bit harder than he's used to, but gets the 6-out save, and Ole Miss takes that first game. And Georgia back against the walls here. I think they got to guarantee themselves a spot in that postseason. They got to win the next 2.
We'll see if they can do that tomorrow night. We're back with you at 7 o'clock Eastern. Derek Diamond will be on the mound, the sophomore right-hander for the Rebels. Liam Sullivan, the freshman left-hander, will go for the Georgia Bulldogs. Final here, Ole Miss 2-0 winners over Georgia. Now for Jason Jacobs and our entire SEC Network team, I'm Matt Stewart. Good night from Athens. We'll see you tomorrow.